It was supposed to be an ordinary night in Atlanta.
License
Sunday,
and registration, please.
9:17 p.m. The city had already quieted, but for Dr. Marcus Reed, the night was far from over. He had just left Grady Memorial Hospital after a 16-hour shift, saving lives that hung between chaos and chance. His scrubs still smelled faintly of antiseptic. His eyes carried the exhaustion of a man who had seen too much blood and too little rest. He drove his Tesla Model 3 through Peachtree Street, a car bought not for luxury, but for silence. For a man who worked with heartbeats, silence was peace. But peace doesn't last long when prejudice is on patrol. A flash of red and blue lights cut through the rear mirror. A siren screamed for attention. And just like that, another story began. One that would expose a truth America keeps trying to forget. The body cam footage begins with the blinding glare of headlights and the officer's voice slicing through the night. License and registration. Whose car is this? Simple question. But the tone carried something else. It wasn't curiosity. It was disbelief. Dr. Reed handed over his license, his hospital ID, his insurance, everything neatly stacked like evidence of innocence. He smiled, trying to keep the moment calm. Doctors are trained to de-escalate panic, but calm can't fix perception. The officer circled the Tesla twice, flashlight tracing every inch of metal like it might confess a crime. He called for backup. 2 more patrol cars pulled up, tires crunching against wet asphalt. Neighbors peeked through blinds. Phones began recording. And there, under the strobe of police lights, stood a man who had spent his life saving strangers, now treated as one more suspect. His stethoscope gleamed around his neck. His dignity didn't. The next morning, the police department issued a statement, cold, procedural. The officer followed protocol. But 3 days later, when Internal Affairs reviewed the body cam, that narrative began to crumble. They saw what everyone else would soon see, not an arrest, but an assumption. The officer's smirk, his subtle shake of the head when Dr. Reed explained he was a doctor, and then the moment that ended his career. "Come on, Doc, you sure this isn't your boss's car?" 7 words that exposed a lifetime of bias. Within 24 hours, the clip leaked online. The internet erupted. Hashtags flooded timelines. News outlets picked it up, each headline echoing the same disbelief. A doctor profiled for driving home. It wasn't just outrage. It was exhaustion. The collective sigh of a people who had seen this movie too many times with too many endings that never changed. Public pressure forced the department's hand. The officer was suspended with pay, the familiar first act in America's long play of accountability. But this time, the script shifted. Investigators found previous complaints buried in the officer's record, small things brushed aside, each one now a puzzle piece fitting perfectly into the picture the body cam revealed. 7 days after the footage surfaced, the department announced his termination. The statement was brief. Quote, "The Atlanta Police Department does not tolerate discrimination." But words on paper don't erase the sound of handcuffs clicking around innocent wrists. Dr. Reed held a press conference. He wasn't angry, he wasn't loud. He simply said, quote, "I don't want revenge. I want reform. Because no one should have to prove they belong in their own success." Those words traveled farther than any lawsuit could. Colleges replayed his interview in ethics classes. Hospitals used it in diversity workshops. And somewhere in that ripple of reflection, people began to ask the question America avoids. Why does black excellence still look suspicious to some? Racism doesn't always shout. Sometimes it hums beneath protocol, hidden in routine checks, disguised as standard questions. It wears politeness like perfume, but it stinks of bias. That night, racism wore a badge, and asked a doctor to justify his own success. The camera didn't just record the stop, it recorded the truth. And in an age where lies travel faster than justice, the body cam became the witness that couldn't be silenced. Dr. Reed returned to work a week later. His patients didn't ask about the video, but nurses noticed he parked in a different spot, closer to the entrance, under the light. It wasn't fear, it was awareness. The kind every Black professional knows too well. The awareness that safety isn't guaranteed by status or salary or scrubs. In the end, justice arrived, not through fury, but through footage. A badge was lost, a truth was found, and a nation was reminded that accountability still matters. Dr. Reed still drives the same car. He still works the same long hours. But every time he starts that engine, he remembers what that night taught him. You can heal wounds of the body, but the wounds of prejudice require a different medicine. Because justice, like healing, begins with diagnosis. You can't fix what you refuse to see. If stories like this move you, don't let them vanish into silence. Share this video, speak about it, and subscribe for more stories that seek truth. Because silence protects bias, but awareness protects lives.